Like I have one time I was on the contract, and then the buyer, I was representing the seller, and then the appraiser came and said the roof needed to replace. And then my seller was like, well, how about we just give them credit because I don't want to do the repair. Let's just give them credit towards closing costs because the seller didn't want to come up with that $10,000 out of pocket before closing. Well, that doesn't work like that. Yeah. You must do the repair, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, in that case, they had to do the repair before closing. And then, so my seller came up with that $10,000, but it was like a week before closing, he turned around a week after he had his money back. But it was hard for me to convince him to do it because he was having a hard time understanding that if you do not do this, we are not closing in 10 days.
Exactly.
Just get it done. And then sometimes... Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I am Danielle Bilumbu Leach right here at Let's Keep It Real Now, and I'm here with my favorite host.
Hey, Abu Jabi with AMP Lending, best loan officer in the state of Texas.
Okay guys, so today we're going to learn how, as a seller, what you need to do to not be sued. Remember, we are not lawyers. I don't know which state you are. We're just going to tell you what we know based on our experience and based on the knowledge we have into the field that we're working in, real estate. But this is some of the things that we learn along the way. Always consult with your lawyer because we are not lawyers and we cannot read your contract for you. So always have somebody who knows the law that can help you. But we're going to talk about disclosures. Okay, so disclosures are very, very important. But let me give you the definition, the exact definition, exactly what's a disclosure and also what's a seller's disclosure. So when you sell your home in the state of Texas, maybe other states do the same thing, but here in the state of Texas, you need to provide the buyer all the information that you know about your property. And then usually you put that into a form that we call here the seller's disclosure. And then the seller's disclosure statement is a form disclosing the seller's knowledge of the condition of the property. The seller disclosure notice or statement is an anecdote and does not serve as a substitute for any inspection or warranty the buyer may wish to obtain. Okay, it's not because you purchase a home and the seller give you a seller's disclosure that necessarily you don't need to do a home inspection or anything that come with it, right? They may let you know they changed the foundation, but you still have to. You can always ask them, well, okay, you did a foundation work. Okay, so where is the diagram? Any warranty that come with it? That's still your responsibility, buyers, to do the search. If they tell you they changed the roof, great. That's still your responsibility, buyer, to check that, not on the seller.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean just because they disclosed it that's actually what happened. It could be something more in depth, something more that needs more attention. So, yeah, most definitely. And
the only time is not required for a seller to provide a buyer a seller's disclosure in the state of Texas. Double check. If you're not in Texas, is when you do have a foreclosure. So pretty much the bank took over the property and sell it. If you're buying a new construction home, because new construction home have different rule and regulation, or if it's an estate sale, meaning somebody passed away, a child, a daughter, niece, anybody, someone inherits the property and decide to put it on the market for sale because they're not the actual owner. They sometimes never live in there. They don't know the exact condition of that specific property.
So you're buying the property as is.
Yeah. And then I wanted to know on the lending perspective, do you guys oftentimes take a look at the seller's disclosure or not?
I'll take a look at it just for personal use, but once I'm submitting it to the underwriter, I'm not sending that in because it can open up a can of worms that we don't need. So the seller's disclosure I'm not uploading, and then the actual inspection. When you get the inspection done, that's just for your personal use, whatever comes up on that. The only thing that we're using is the appraisal. Those are our eyes as a lender. Once the appraiser goes out and looks at the property and does what they do, that's the report we send.
Yeah. So on the seller's disclosure, as a seller, make sure to anything that was repaired, broken, replaced, changed, must be put in a seller's disclosure. So if you don't see the item, the line, just put it somewhere. You have extra space for you to write down what was changed, because sometimes we don't have every little item and it could be important. If you know, for example, you replace the AC system, it needs to be pointed out in there. If, for example, you change, you did have some electrical issue, put it. Anyway, if you have a doubt, if you repair, replace, change anything in the house and you're not sure, just put it there, because you don't want the buyer to find out from the neighbor, because the neighbors are nosy.
Yeah.
They're always going to say, oh, you're the new person to move into the house.
Yeah.
We know the Joneses.
Yeah.
Did you know this happened to the house? And you're like, well, nobody told me, right? So it's very important for you to disclose it and let them know. And then sometime in a transaction, it can cause problem. One time, a buyer that I know, she purchased a home. The seller didn't put that. They had a flood due to a pipe busting in a house. That happened on the property. And then what happened is the buyer, during the transaction, during the contract, asked for, needed to have insurance. And it was maybe 4 or 5 days before closing. And she could not find an insurance to cover the house because a claim was made on the property maybe a year or so ago that they had water damage due to the busting pipe. So the buyer could not get an insurance to cover her, because just like we learned one time, if you look at the episode about insurance, and the insurance will stick to the house just like you would have your ID. So whatever happened on that specific property will be recorded and saved, and it's going to follow it. So then the lady could not have insurance, and the seller didn't disclose that. So you as a seller, that was really bad, because now the seller was still trying to push the transaction to happen and the closing to happen, but the buyer was not feeling confident. This was not on the seller's disclosure. So she backed out of the contract. She had her earnest money back, and then she requested the seller to provide her the money for the inspection.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. This kind of thing is noted in the seller's disclosure. Is the house ever flooded for natural cause or not? And what happened? And the person didn't put that in there. So what happened is, when she find out, because she keep calling insurance company, everybody can deny her the insurance. I guess the flood must have been really, really bad.
It had to be.
For that to happen. And then when she it was at the last minute, she was ready to move. She's like, you know what? I can buy this home. We cannot move forward. My lender cannot give me the loan because of that. And then the seller's like, well, I can transfer my insurance to you, whatever. And she's like, no, I'm not doing this deal no more. Then she backed out. She had her earnest money back. She had a home inspection back. She asked for the option fee back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And she asked also for the appraisal money back.
So they had got far into the transaction with this.
Oh, yeah. It was 4 or 5 days before closing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5.
Just trying, man.
Yeah, okay. She wanted the house. She was to move forward, but then for over a week, she could not find an insurance that wanted to cover that. And she looked at left and right on the seller's disclosure, and it was not there. Yeah. The seller lied.
Yeah.
By omission, I guess.
Yeah.
We say by omission, well?
Yeah.
If you can, okay, thank you for correcting me. So the seller lied about omission. You didn't tell, you didn't disclose. That was a material fact. Then the property flooded, and the repair was done so well, you can't even see on the first floor ceiling that nothing was done on the house. So he hid it, and then at the last minute, this come up. And then she could have sued him, if she wanted to, but hey, she just asked for all of that.
Anytime a seller doesn't disclose something on the seller disclosure and it comes back out, the buyer can sue them for that.
Yeah, you can, because if it's considered like a matter of fact and you need that, some item is nothing and some are big. If, for example, you know that your AC is having some real challenges and you didn't put that in there, and then sometimes buyer do or don't do inspection, and then this come up, and then the AC or the sudden just die on you at the last minute, and now you have to replace the whole AC system because you didn't know. Depending how you negotiate the deal, you didn't do an inspection, do whatever. But the fact that you knew, and then the buyer can prove that you have a pre-existing condition on it, and you did not. I'm not a lawyer, guys. Contact your lawyer.
Yeah,
but
please.
You can. Is one of the number one reason people get sued in the U.S.
Okay.
Because you didn't disclose a material fact, or you have foundation work. You didn't tell the buyer You know, you've done some foundation work. You didn't tell the buyer. So the buyer is thinking he's buying a home sound nicely. The inspector came in. The inspector did his measurement. He's like, oh, everything is well in balance and stuff like that. Nothing on the foundation. But then you come to find out later on, because maybe one day you were digging in the backyard, you see some trace of foundation work that were done. And then the things start shifting and all that. Yeah. And it's getting really bad for you. And then you come up and they tell you, hey, the house settled maybe 6 months or 4 months or 3 months after the sale, because the seller just repaired the foundation, and then now things are not working properly. And then foundation work can be sometime. I've seen the highest that I've seen one time was $65,000 for foundation work. And then now you have that in your hand. No, you're gonna call the seller and say, you knew that, you didn't tell me, and you can if you can prove it,
they're in trouble.
You can be in trouble, yeah. Or someone passed away on the property. Some people, believe a lot in spirit.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that.
Yeah, you believe in spirit and all that, and you just don't want to buy a home with somebody who passed away. Yeah. And then what happened is the neighbor come and tell you, do you know somebody got killed here or whatever? And you're like, no, I didn't know. Now you start freaking out. You can sleep in your own home at night. The seller didn't tell you. Yeah. Unless, once again, foreclosure, new construction, or estate sale, you're required to provide a seller's disclosure and really be honest about it. Yeah. And sometimes it's good to just put the reality in front of the person, so whatever the buyer decides to sign, they know what's going on with the property. And then when you moved on, you should not have received any phone call like, you didn't tell me.
Yeah. Depending upon like what position the seller is in, how bad they want to sell the property, they'll hold some information back.
But I think this come back to morality. It doesn't matter how bad you want to sell your property. You still need to be honest. And you want to deal with people that know what they're getting themselves into, because you don't want the repercussion in the future, like you did some wrong. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Just be direct and honest. Yeah. And then if you are a seller, you try to sell your home, sometimes it's good to have an inspection done on your property before you put it on the market. Yeah. And then when the buyer comes in and is interested by your property, just send them the inspection report. So when they submit an offer, they're cautious about what's going on the property. Sometimes having an inspection report done beforehand, you can waive, that inspection time that you want to put in there, because you already have the inspection report, especially if it's recent, like less than a month. Yeah. At least and you can adjust your offer based on that inspection report. Yeah. But as for a lender, if you find out that there is some issue with the property, could the lender deny the sale because of the property condition?
Well, we would do that up front. So you're saying like a home that's not livable?
Yeah, let's say, for example, I have someone who wants to buy a home, and then they put on the seller's disclosure there is an AC system, but the central AC system is not working. Yeah. But then they put Windows AC, and then the appraisal comes in, and so a bunch of Windows AC. Could you guys stop especially on the FHA, for example?
Yeah, for FHA, most definitely. The AC unit would have to be fixed or repaired for us to be able to move forward. On the conventional side, the house does have to be livable. So what we could do... but
the house is livable. There's Windows AC.
No, but you have to have central AC. You have to have AC.
Is it required to have central AC on the FHA?
On the FHA, you have to.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. I thought as long as you have AC in the house, it's fine.
Well, what's the difference between central AC and...
The Windows AC is just I don't know if anybody know how the Windows AC work, but so they have a hole in the windows and they put those boxes there, right there.
Yeah, so where everybody meets at, like the living room, you have to have air that goes into that actual room.
Got you.
Where everybody meets for FHA.
Okay.
I ran across that myself personally.
So, but conventional, it's okay.
Conventional is okay, right? But basically what we will do to try to get it repaired on the conventional side, they can do hard money loans, right? So you can't go and purchase the property. Now, depending upon if you're purchasing for an investment, if it's a primary, those things have to be up to code. So
tell me, what some of the condition or things or item that for example, they can qualify for FHA based on the condition of the house?
Well, you have to have running water.
Okay.
The refrigerator has to be able to work.
If there is no fridge on the sale,
then we have the appraiser's going to test the actual connection.
Oh, to make sure it's working.
To make sure it's working.
Okay.
Then you have the stove. The stove has to work.
Okay.
The windows have to be able to
open and close.
Yeah. And then you have to have flooring material like carpet or tile.
So if there is no floor, no house on the FHA.
And then the roof. The roof has to be intact. So it's all structural stuff.
What about the water heater?
Water heater has to work. Has to be cold and hot water.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, all those things have to work.
So you cannot sell a home to a buyer on the FHA without appliances, which are dishwasher, stove, microwave is okay because some are in and out. It doesn't matter. But
you have to have the oven. Yeah.
The stove, the dishwasher.
Exactly.
Fridge is not required, but if it's there, it must work.
It must work. It must work.
Okay, what about conventional?
Conventional, as long as you have the carpet, the windows don't have to be intact all the way. You can still close on a conventional home. You have to have running water on conventional. The home does have to be livable, but on conventional products, if you do have things that aren't fixed, we can do what's called a hard money loan to be able to repair the property and then convert it over to a conventional. So you can close on it on the hard money side and then convert it over to conventional to be able to have it done to where you're living in.
Could the lender require some of the repair to be done before closing?
They can make it subject to.
Okay.
Or you can have a situation where you close on the property and you still have somebody that's going to fix the property. Let's say you have 15 days from the date of closing. You have 15 days that this has to be repaired. So you'll have something that's holding to escrow that shows that money was there to be able to sustain the repairs of the property and then wait for that property to be repaired and then have the appraiser go out to make sure that it was completed.
I know. So what was my case? Because I remember when I bought my house, and you were the lender on it. So when I bought my house, that was the crime scene house.
Yeah.
So that house, unfortunately, had some water penetration issue. Nobody wanted it. The seller didn't want to sell it to investors. So the regular type of buyer they were having a hard time have a vision on it. But because I'm in the business and then my husband and I flip houses. So we you find us a lender, an investor who was willing to let us have the house on a conventional way, but we give money on escrow, more money on escrow, and you guys hold that money on escrow, and then told us we have a certain number of days to do the repair in the house because we didn't have floor, we didn't have staircase.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that were missing in the house, and then but the thing is. The cute part is you ask us to hold like I don't know, I think it was 25,000 on escrow or something like that, 20, but that was the money we needed to repair.
Yeah.
So how can we repair the house and we have to load the money on escrow? That didn't make sense to me at that time.
Yeah.
But we did it. We made the repair, and then you were able to release our money from the title because the money stayed with the title company on escrow.
Exactly. So basically, what it is you have to have the money to repair it. And then reserve for the amount that needs to be repaired to be held in escrow just in case that it doesn't get repaired. Then the title company has the funds to force the repair to happen.
Oh, so that was mean that the title could have come and repair for me?
They could find their own repair people or have the actual buyer force an actual contractor on you guys to be able to repair the property to be able to get the loan sold.
I didn't know that part.
That was the reason, but you already had, people to repair, so there was no reason for that.
No, I thought
that's why they hold it in escrow.
Okay, but I knew you were holding it just to make sure because I wanted my money back to have it, but I didn't realize that was for you, the lender, to use to send somebody. Tell the title company to send somebody to get the repair done.
If the repairs aren't done by the time
that we agree,
they need to be completed.
Do you know how long? I don't remember how long I had it, but I know we made the repair fairly quickly. But
it was like 2 weeks from the date of close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was like 2 weeks from the date of close. So we were still able to close on it and fund on the loan. and then still have those repairs done. I think there was like the stair rail.
It was the stair rail. It was the entire second floor, the carpet, and other item in the house that needed to be taken care of because they didn't make the property livable.
Yeah. So they call it an escrow holdback. So
So guys, if you see a property that you really, really, really like, but it will need some repair, the good things about properties like that, and a lot of people don't realize, is have a vision for it. My husband had that vision. I didn't have that vision because I was like, I don't like this house. And he's like, this is our house. And then so have a vision for it. So if you do have a little bit of money, and then the good things about it, we bought the house at 35% discounted price. And we still got a regular conventional loan with interest rate at a time when the interest rate was less than 3%.
Yeah.
And then so 2.78.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a magical number for me right now.
Yeah.
So we were able to secure the house and have our home, but so you can still buy your home, and then as long and do the same thing, hold the money on escrow. If you have a little cash, they'll give you a regular conventional loan instead of you running and try to get a hard money lender. You can do it like that. You still need to be able to qualify, but this is only for conventional. FHA doesn't do that.
FHA does not do that.
Okay, so Abu has the product, so and then you can buy your home and then get you fixer upper like that, and then I don't have to worry too much about higher interest rate than a hard money lender can give you. But also, they happen in the past. Some people think. Like I have one time I was on the contract, and then the buyer. I was representing the seller, and then the appraiser came and said the roof needed to replace. And then my seller was like, well, how about we just give them credit, because I don't want to do the repair. Let's just give them credit towards closing costs, because the seller didn't want to come up with that $10,000 out of pocket before closing. Well, that doesn't work like that. Yeah. You must do the repair, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, in that case, they had to do the repair before closing. And then, so my seller came up with that $10,000, but it was like a week before closing. He turned around a week after he had his money back. But it was hard for me to convince him to do it, because he was having a hard time understanding that if you do not do this, we are not closing in 10 days.
Exactly.
Just get it done. And then sometimes it's a matter of people have a hard time finding the money,
Exactly.
Because
not everybody has that kind of cash.
Yeah. These are big ticket items. So just be aware of it. Sometimes the lender can require from you to do the repair.
Exactly. And it'll come back on the appraisal. So the appraisal will come back subject to, and the appraiser will state on the appraisal what actually needs to be done. And if it has to be done by somebody that has a license and so on and so forth.
Okay. So, guys, we want to hear from you. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask us. But it looks like Abu has some great product and investor that can work with you if you're thinking about purchasing a home that may need some repair without going the hard money lender route, because they're charging some crazy fee.
They are.
Yeah, you can still qualify for a regular conventional loan. But before we go, I know FHA, sometimes they do also, you can buy a property on a FHA and then still have them finance or help you with the repair.
Exactly.
Would you mind elaborating?
203K loans. So they have 203K loans where, the repairs can't be that outrageous, though. I think it's like a $50,000 cap on what needs to be repaired on the property, but FHA does have it to where you can get it fixed within the loan. But it has to be fixed before you actually close. It's not like a escrow holdback.
It's not a construction where you can close and then they give you the rest of. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, I got confused on that.
Everything's closed within the actual time frame of the loan on the FHA.
Okay, so who's responsible to do the repair? The buyer or the seller?
So what happens is, if you're selling the property, right? You're selling the property and the property has those repairs that need to be done. In order for the seller to sell the house, they're responsible for those actual repairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the house isn't sellable on the FHA side.
Okay. Okay, got you. Yeah. That's good. So hopefully you guys learned a lot today. Thank you so much for watching us. We want to hear from you guys. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask us. If you have some lending need, you know where to reach Abu.
Give me a call, 281-520-0015.
If you need anything regarding real estate buying, selling, renting, investing, I'm your girl. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.